Hi.
How are you?
Good, chef. Good to see you again.
See ya.
What do we got? Oh, look at this.
Some rosé.
Ooh,
Beginning of
chef.
the summer.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
You're gonna do some more.
Oh, I'm gonna do
Oh,
more.
so
This is awesome.
She already taught you, so.
So now I'm gonna see if I've perfected it or not.
Yeah, now
All
you're
right.
gonna do all the prep work for me, so that we can start
Sit
serving.
right over here, my
tonight.
friend.
Yes.
So, Chef David, I stopped in quickly to see him last night to touch base with him, but you've got to see this operation in El Forno. If you've not been to El Forno, you absolutely are missing out. But I was walking last night, and it was the pouring rain as we were coming
Yes.
in. But the courtyard, on a day like today, you feel like you were in a piazza in Italy when you can go to that courtyard. So I have to plug that because that courtyard is just spectacular.
It's
And
very inviting.
I know Joanne worked very hard at that. So I have to say, El Forno's pasta is all made in-house, right?
Most of it
Most of
is.
it's made in-house,
We
okay.
we use some dry pasta that we do buy, but most of it is made in house.
And Joanne was saying it's a lot of the creations of you coming up with these menu solutions and things that you want to do to be inventive with your dishes.
Yes.
So give me an example, and I know you brought something here, so let's talk about this one first, but I want to get a couple examples of the pastas that are yours, that you're making in-house, that are
Sure,
inventive.
sure.
What's this one we got today?
A lot of the things that I make are because of the season. So these are garlic scapes that I harvest from my own garden this morning.
This is garlic?
This is garlic scapes. So the garlic plant gives this shoot that looks like a snake.
Okay.
And it's edible. It's much sweeter than garlic and very mild. So when you harvest it right now, it's really nice and tender. You can make it into a pesto or use it as garlic. So I made a pesto out of it.
Oh, that's
And then you were just making some cavatelli, and then we toss it with cavatelli and Parmigiano Reggiano.
So this is so I'm a pesto, I love pesto. So this is a different pesto. This pesto is literally made from this.
from garlic scapes. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I've never even heard of garlic scapes.
Yes.
So it's going to have that garlic flavor.
The garlic flavor, and it's gonna be sweet also because it's so tender and sweet. You can literally crack it in half and have a little piece. Yeah, see?
Look at that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, you can smell the garlic.
Oh my God, it smells
Yeah,
delicious.
yeah, yeah.
All right, I might have to try a little piece.
Try a
All right,
little piece.
So what other pastas have we got over there that you're making?
So I make a lot of raviolis, and again, with the seasons, they change
my
and
God.
come and go.
It's like having a clove of garlic.
It's a little more mild, but it's, yeah,
but it does have that sweetness that you mentioned.
yeah, yeah. So.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Okay, so ravioli. Talking about the ravioli, I've been
Yeah.
to you, I apologize.
No problem. So I enjoy making raviolis. One of my first jobs in the restaurant was in the place in Chicago. The name of the restaurant is Spiaggia. It's still there. It's
Okay.
It's a very well-known restaurant in Chicago, and I just fell in love with all the raviolis that we would make every day. We had to make everything every day fresh.
So is that one of the areas that you first learned to do the pasta?
Yeah, this is going 30-something years ago.
All right, so the ravioli, which I've had, this, which is amazing, I'm gonna have to try that eventually. You brought me a rosé, so before we're gonna do, right? Rosé here?
Yeah, it's a Commanderie de Parasol. I'm always looking forward to the summer because when the new year comes out, 2016, and it's one of my favorite rosés in the world.
Really, in
Yeah,
the world, and this
yeah.
is something we gotta toast to. So
Yeah.
chef, tell me about the pairings. So, I mean, in tasting these, I mean, you just brought me something that I've never had before with this. So, in pairing up wine in the restaurant, and Chef Donna was just here was, I'm gonna coin her phrase that wine is food, which I love. So, in pairing these things up, are you occasionally, like when the summer comes down and you're having a rosé, are you thinking about the creations and the concepts being inventive in pairing the wines and the pasta?
Absolutely, and some things kind of play themselves in freely, because when you're using fresh ingredients, seasonal ingredients, then yeah, we think about what we should bring in as far as wine too, and that's where Joanne is very much involved
Right.
in making sure that
She's
new
brilliant.
wines come in. Yes.
She's brilliant. Well, cheers to you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I'm gonna do this
Appreciate it.
more often.
I know,
Take a
absolutely.
break and then I come to drink.
This is why Wednesdays are my favorite day of the week. See? So
Isn't that delicious?
this is absolutely superb,
Yeah.
and it's truthfully going with what I just had with this
Yeah,
garlic.
yeah.
It's light and it's refreshing. So this is the perfect thing for me to come sit on that patio outside and enjoy over there.
Yes.
So raviolis. How many different types of raviolis? Is it specials that you're producing? Is it regular menu items?
There is one that I keep all the time, and then there are two that I always change. Right now we have fresh English peas. I think she mentioned.
Mhm.
I make a version of it, and then I serve it. I serve it with a sauce with prosciutto and a little bit of mushrooms and a very light cream sauce.
mushrooms. Love that.
Yeah. Really
So
delicious.
the seasonality comes into play, obviously, too,
Absolutely.
right? So you like when
Always.
the asparagus, the peas that you were talking about, those kind of things, the pesto, being able to do that.
Yes.
From an inventive standpoint, you've trained, and you said, you know, you've been in the business for 30-something years
Yes.
and learned how to make the ravioli. From the inventive standpoint, do you see that pastas, you're keeping the traditions, obviously, of Italy, and I think everyone that I have them today can say that, but do you see that you're being more inventive with the selections and types of things that you've learned over time?
Yes, absolutely. We always try new things, but I think you have to have a foundation of tradition,
Absolutely.
and then from there move on. It's like a person that a clothes designer. You know, he has to know how to make clothes before he can
Right.
make a new style. So it's the same thing for me. I have the grounds, the foundations. You have to know how to make the pastas, and then I make new things.
And Forno has been steeped in those traditions for a very long time, so to carry on that and to have Joanne having you in the kitchen is obviously something your talents are being very well used for it. So I want to get into a little bit about people's concepts and pastas and stuff like that. Do you guys, are you able to do gluten-free pasta at the restaurant?
We do. We offer. I think a lot of people nowadays are. We have had more demand for gluten-free pasta, so we do have some offerings.
So when you do gluten-free pasta, does that change the style of how you have to do the other ingredients, or does it stay the same as your regular? Similar
No, there are certain things that we cannot serve with the gluten-free pasta. So we have just a few choices, not as many, unfortunately.
Okay. And what are some of the dishes that, I know Forno, again, is going seasonally, but what are some of the raviolis that you've made that had more of the meat to it? You know, like have you had a meat ravioli or a meat sauce that's gone with it that has been there? Because one of the things that I was reading up and I got a question about was meat sauces and where do these meat sauces come from? Are they authentic to specific regions? You know, and there's this oh my God, I'm gonna mess it up. Armagina pasta was one of the poor man's pastas that was out there for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Do you experiment with those different things and follow that?
Yes, I have. So there is a pasta that I made in the fall that it was a ravioli. It was kind of like an ancient, I kind of had to do a little research. I kind of came out with my own version of it, which it had pears in it, and it had stracchino cheese,
Okay.
and it had sausages.
All right.
And also raisins. So it was kind of like
Raisins?
Yeah, so it was like a little bit of sweet, but it was just savory.
But see, that's inventive. That right
Yeah,
there is this
yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And this is what people are trying to understand is that everybody knows that they love pasta in some shape or form.
Mhm.
And what I'm hoping out of this segment is that not only are you going to have this concept where you're learning to make the pasta, but to get to the point that realize what it is to be inventive and try different
Mhm.
things with your pasta, because I'm all about it. I mean, the more things I can have in there, the different types of sauces that are available. I mean, I still call them gravy from my grandmother, but the different type of things that are out there, that's being inventive and that's enjoying it
Yes.
and doing it. And like you said, there's a foundation or a tradition
Yes.
that it all comes from. So this was unbelievable. This is something I'm definitely going to eat. So you're going to show me how to make some more pasta.
Oh, well, she already gave you the quick lesson. So, but basically, this is the cavatelli, something that we make in the restaurant, and you know, it's very tedious little work because the tiny little. I like the
Let's bring
texture
this
to
back here.
be.
Tony, can you see that a little bit? There we go.
I like the texture to be, this has a very interesting kind of chewy texture.
Okay.
So I like when it goes into your mouth that you have all these things going on in there, the flavor of the sauce, but yet there is this chewiness and just things happening in there. But like
How many of these can you, look how fast he's rolling these out.
yeah, so we can go much faster. And it's basically just rolling. See, you're not really pushing.
All right,
it's
so you
kinda
got to look right
rolling.
here so they can see this. Look at that.
Yeah.
But see, once you get the knack of it, you can make these
Yeah,
things
you
out
can
so
just.
fast. And this is the pasta that you
Yeah,
put out
this
to
is
do it, right?
semolina flour and all-purpose flour, equal parts, and then just warm water. That's it, and salt, a little salt.
A little salt.
Yeah, that's it.
Look how fast he's doing this. See, this is why I got to
Yeah.
learn this better so I can make this at home.
So
Now, from the perspective of this, so these are the tiny ones like Chotana was showing me.
Yeah.
Is there larger type ones that you can do with the same?
yeah,
This is
so
around there?
there's different shapes. The same dough kind of works for different things. So, like, you know,
Oh, there
that's
you
more
go,
like
okay.
a trocchetti.
A strocchetti?
Yeah,
See, that's
see.
small. Okay.
So-
That's longer and thinner.
Yeah, so you can, the same dough you can use for different things. But I like this shape the most, I think. because it catches the sauce really well, and it's got the ridges and
The
it catches
texture that goes into it.
Yeah, see, you have the little
Oh, yeah.
well in there, and then the sauce kind of goes in
Yeah,
there.
so that's
and the
interesting. So
ridges.
so this is where I was messing it up before. Mine had a well, so I know I was doing okay. See,
You were doing
it's
okay.
got that well, and then it's got the texture in the front of it.
Yeah.
So when you do the ravioli, is it
Mhm.
different? I mean, it's a lot more handwork, right?
Yeah, that's a different dough. That's an egg pasta.
Right.
So you have to work the pasta to a texture where it's nice and silky,
Okay.
and then you have to roll it in a way that when you put your hand, you see your hand.
'Cause
Pretty
it's
much you
thinner.
can see your hand through.
Right.
So it should be very thin. So when it goes into the boiling water, it should boil right back up, and it should only cook in about 3 minutes or so. So you have this really delicate texture.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that is done wrong, that I'm kind of very particular about, that it has to be very delicate when you eat it. Not something. It's the pasta is the carrier of the filling. It's not. It shouldn't be the other way around.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So, and there's different sauces that can go with raviolis that are different from this, because like you just said, the sauce captures the texture in that little pocket that's in this.
Mhm.
But on a ravioli, is it mostly you prefer the lighter sauces to go into that?
No, I like everything. I mean, I like something really simple, as just a little butter. Depends
Right.
on what the filling is, or if I'm making a little something heartier, I will make like a nice, beautiful ragu that will toss it with a like a spinach ravioli. Like I will make a nice lamb ragu to toss it with the pasta.
So do you get, I mean, coming into El Forno, are you getting feedback from your customers about the different things they like and the kind of how it places into the menu or becomes a regular addition to the menu?
Yeah, we have a lot of regulars, first of all.
Absolutely.
And so I have to keep it interesting for them so they can, have some different things. Even though some people will come just for the baked pasta,
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
a lot of people do come back for new things and different things.
So
that's the challenge.
What are some of your favorites to make? Some of your homemade ones? What are some of your favorites that you like to make and put out there? Because this is always a question I get. What is the chef like? I'm sure you get it all the time.
God,
what is the chef for tonight?
See, that's a difficult question.
I know, because
because I'm a foodie. I mean, this is kind of food is in my blood, so I don't know if I have a favorite.
You don't have a set preference?
No.
What would you
no.
say are some of the most popular ones that are ordered at El Forno?
So I make this short rib ravioli. I braise short ribs
Okay.
really slowly, and then chop up the meat and just toss it with a little Parmesan cheese. And then from the braising liquid becomes the sauce.
From the short rib?
From the short ribs
Okay.
becomes the sauce for the ravioli. So we saute mushrooms, add this braising liquid to the mushrooms, and then toss the ravioli in that sauce. That's one of the most popular raviolis that we have.
See, I'm hungry again for the pesto and not for ravioli.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fantastic. I know you got the courtyard opening. I know that you're incredibly busy. Last night you
Yes.
had a lot of parties when we
Yes.
stopped in to see you. So, Chef, your background in the time that you spent with Joanne, you've created a lot of amazing things out there.
Mhm.
Has there ever been any thought about you guys doing these type of classes or helping people out to learn the pastas? Have you done that over there at all?
We do classes.
You
We
do?
do them in the spring and the fall.
Okay.
And the winter only, because it gets really hot now in the
In the
kitchen.
summertime, yeah.
And they sell out within minutes from the time we put it on the website.
So in the spring, in the fall is the next time to look, right? That's
The
in
fall, yeah.
the winter and the spring,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And you said, but it is something that you guys post on the website and put out there for everybody to know about?
Yeah, we put it on our website, and pretty much within minutes it sells out.
All right, so see,
So-
like we were talking about before, it's something you gotta pay attention to, because
Yeah.
if you wanna learn these things,
Yeah.
it's great. But Chef, this has been fantastic having you, and I truly, truly appreciate you
Thank
taking the
you.
time out of El Forno to come over and join us. And you're more than inventive, because like I said, you're carrying on the traditions, but at the same time, making these things that are enjoyable for everyone. And it's educational, and that's part of what I love. But thank you again for joining me
Thanks.
today. It was
Thanks
very
for
good to
having
have
me.
you.